Welcome back to Hardware Unboxed. We'll see if I manage to get it right that time. It might be Harbour, or it might be Hammer. We'll see. Hopefully we got hardware. Anyway, I haven't done an unboxing boxes episode for quite some time. A lot of you have been reminding me for many, many months now. Some of you quite upset that I haven't done another episode. Just been busy benchmarking new products. 2019 was really, really crazy. Probably the most full-on year in history of doing this job. So almost 20 years for me now. Yeah, really crazy year. Every time we thought we were about to do or catch up on something, there was a new product or some big announcement. So very full-on, and sort of side projects such as unboxing boxes were just put on the back burner. But anyway, I went away last week. I had a full week off. I had a fishing holiday with some mates, bit of relaxation time, and while I was away, a few boxes and things came in. A few piled up the week before I left as well, and I was scrambling to get content ready so there'd be things on the channel from me last week, which there were. We did a CPU cooler thing, TRX 40 VRM thing, and a top 5 GPU video. But we're going to get back to some big benchmark videos. But before I do that, I have to unbox a few things. So here we are. I thought I might as well do this on camera and satisfy those of you who have been missing this series. It's probably going to be a bit of a long one. First we need a box. I suppose I should get one of those and we'll get this show on the road. So I'll do that. Okay. First package, first box. I'm missing something. It's been a while since I've used the beast. Okay, missed this guy. Hopefully it's still in here. Alright, you ready to do some work? It's been a while. Still cuts like new. Okay, what have we got? We got foam. Ooh, okay. It looks like we have the ASRock 5600 XT, their Phantom gaming version. Yes, very nice. What have we got on the side here? Number 43. This is the 43rd review sample. It seems that's where I am in line, so yep. Let's have a quick look at it. We won't spend too much time on this because we will be getting a fairly detailed review. Okay. I'll leave the plastic on for now. I'll deal with that later. Wow, it's a very small PCB on this one. It's kind of like a nano card, but quite a large cooler. I'm actually surprised by how light the card is. I mean, it's not light, but it's certainly not as heavy as you would expect. Anyway, I have no idea how much it actually weighs. I'll have to put it on the scales and work that out later. But for a card with a heatsink that big, I'd expect it to be a lot heavier. So maybe it doesn't have a big copper base, which probably makes sense for a 5600 XT. But anyway, I'm pretty confident this one's going to work well as long as it's all mounted correctly and it all looks pretty solid. So yeah, that one should work quite well. So yeah, anyway, we'll stick that on the box and consider that one unboxed and ready for benchmarking. All right, we have another sort of rectangular box here. So this one says 28 on it. Not sure what that means, but we'll get into it. Oops, I think I put a small cut in the box. It looks like it is indeed another graphics card. So probably a 50. Yeah, it is. It's a 5600 XT. I didn't really show you this one, but it's wedged in there good and proper. So this one is the Gigabyte. What is it? Is it the WindForce or the Gaming OC? So it's the Gaming OC model, so that should have 3 fans, and I believe, I'm guessing, it's the same cooler with no changes made to that of the 5700 XT version that we reviewed not too long ago. And that was a particularly good value card because it was only about $10, and I'll get this out first. Yeah, it was only about $10 over MSRP. So this looks to be the same cooler, looks like the same amount of copper heat pipes. So that cooler is going to work really well on a 5600 XT. Not sure on pricing. Pricing's probably a bit messed up at the moment because of a certain virus. But yeah, I expect this card to perform quite well. It just depends on pricing. So yeah, we've kind of seen this cooler on a more power-hungry GPU. But anyway, great to have that in, and we will get testing fairly shortly. There's your home. You can go back in there. All right, I think it's time for another box, so I'll go get one. All right. I think we have a pretty big box here from MSI. It's reasonably heavy. Well, I don't think we've got a pretty big box. I can quite plainly see it is a reasonably large box. It's suspiciously motherboard shaped. And I don't want to get too excited, but it could be the X570 Tomahawk because MSI said they're going to get one of those to me ASAP. But of course, there's the human malware situation, which has, well, halted production. So I was meant to get it over a month ago. Fingers crossed, this is it. We'll see what we got here. I haven't heard that it's coming though, so that doesn't look like it's the Tomahawk, unfortunately. But it may be maybe an interesting product to look at anyway. So I think what we have here is another 5600 XT, and yes, indeed it is. And this is one I have actually been wanting to get my hands on. So this is the is it the Mech? Yeah, it's the OC edition, Mech OC. This is an interesting 5600 XT to look at for a few reasons, and I wasn't sure we would get it that easily. So a little bit of backstory. One of the first 5700 XT graphics cards that we reviewed was the Evoke OC. We weren't, or I wasn't particularly impressed with the card overall, having nothing else to compare it with apart from the reference card. It wasn't really much better than AMD's reference card. It wasn't really any quieter. So yeah, pretty unimpressive. I was hoping AIB cards would be a lot better because we had seen what a water block could do. Obviously we weren't expecting it to be as good as a water block, but performance a little closer to that with, you know, a little more volume. Anyway, not much better than the reference card. Then the whole drama blew up around the thermal pads on the GDDR6 memory. Two of the memory ICs only had, well, half of the memory chip covered with the pad. It was really weird, and that blew up into a big deal. Ultimately, didn't make too much difference, but not a great design, let's say. Not great build quality, so they went and revised that and whatever. But because there was that big drama around the Evoke OC and it wasn't super well received anyway, they weren't that keen to send out the Mech OC, which is a very similar product really, but it was just a bit, well, it was meant to be cheaper. So anyway, they wouldn't send us the 5700 XT version of this card. So thanks to our Patreon members, we were able to just go and buy it, which we did for more than half a dozen 5700 XTs that companies were too scared to send us. And it really annoys me because they're happy to send us their flagship premium, really expensive models that you probably shouldn't buy because they perform well and look good, and people just think, oh, well, the MSI Gaming X version's really good. I'm sure the Mech OC version will be, you know, a good, more budget-oriented version. So, yeah, they're happy to sell them to you, but they're not really proud of them, and they don't really want them looked at too closely. So that annoys me, so I'm glad we're now in a position where we can just buy them and give them a bit of grief over it. But anyway, this time around, MSI has, well, they're standing by their product, let's say. So they're sending us out this model. So this was provided by MSI. It's the same cooler, I believe, as the 5700 XT version, but I think MSI are a little more interested in sending this one out, even though it was a bit of an effort to get it, because it is 5600 XT, so this cooler should work perfectly fine. So yeah, interesting card to look at. Still got the plastic backplate. I won't go on about that too much here. Really not a fan of that, but I understand why they do it, but still really not a fan of it, and I'd rather they didn't. But anyway, that's something to talk about in a lot more depth in the review. So anyway, we have this card. MSI provided it, which is great news, so we can spend our money elsewhere with other companies that won't provide samples. So that's good. I always prefer when they will send the cards. Doesn't change the review in any way, but it's, yeah, I prefer them to send them out if they're going to sell them to you guys. Otherwise, it kind of seems like they know their crap, and they know they're selling their customers crap, and they'd rather not be part of exposing that. Anyway, so yeah, good on MSI for sending that one over. You guys can expect some testing on that in the next week or so. All right, well, we've done 3 5600 XTs so far. which is good because I only had 2 models. I had the Gaming Z, or was it the Gaming? I think it's the Gaming X, which is going to be replaced by the Gaming Z. So that card doesn't really even exist anymore. So that was an MSI higher end card, which had quite a good cooler, and the Sapphire Pulse version, which is also quite a good card as well. And it's only about, well, it was only about $10 over MSRP. Anyway, we should just get another box and get on with it, I think. Well, I was about to promise you that I won't unbox another 5600 XT, but I won't make that promise because I think I will be breaking it, because this box says RX 56XT6T, and it is from XFX. So there's a good chance this is a 5600 XT. Yet another one. Not sure what model. I don't know how many models XFX actually offers. But anyway, they've sent one of them along. So we'll take a peek at that. Not sure which way this box is up. It's upside down and back the front. So there we go. So we have the, what is this? The Thick 3. It's the Ultra version. So the Overclock Plus version. Anyway, it'll be the maximum AIB factory OC spec. And yeah, it is the Thick 3. So 3 fans. I probably won't bother opening this one up because again, we'll be looking at it shortly, and it's another 5600 XT, and that makes 4 now. So we'll move on to something else. Okay, so the next 2 boxes were also 5600 XT, so I've just done a big old jump cut to here. We have the Asus Strix version and the Power Color Red Dragon. Again, not going to take them out of the boxes because you've seen too many 5600 XTs already. Great to be getting them in finally, due to the human malware situation. A lot of these cards have just been difficult to get because, you know, production was shut down. They weren't sending out samples, or they didn't have samples to send out. But it looks like we're starting to get back on track. So I still would like the Asus Tough version. So I'll be pressuring Asus for that because I want to do, I think it probably makes sense to do sort of like 2 roundups. Look at the cheaper entry level 5600 XTs, then your more premium, more expensive versions, and compare all those together. And that means from Power Color, I will need their Red Devil. So the Red Devil's always a really good card, so hopefully that is true for the 5600 XT. I can't imagine it wouldn't be. So anyway, I'll be, yeah, so this is the more entry-level mid-range type model, but it's good to have that. Good to have the Strix. Hopefully this particular Strix model, they've made the necessary adjustments compared to the 5700 XT over there. I would say Asus will be well on top of that, given how that went. But anyway, that is a card we will test out in the not too distant future. So I think that makes about 6 5600 XTs so far. We've only got about 3 or 4 boxes left, and they don't look like they would be 5600 XT. So hopefully we've got something else to look at in this episode. In fact, there is a box I can see from Corsair, so I'll probably grab that next. Okay, Corsair. Unless they started making 5600 XTs in the week that I was away fishing, this probably isn't a 5600 XT, but knowing Corsair, they release so many new products all the time. Maybe they're making graphics cards now, who knows? But probably not. Okay. Not a graphics card, I don't think, unless it's a new AIO graphics card, but it looks like it is their new all-in-one liquid cooler, if I can get it out. Super chilled, okay. It is the IQ H115i RGB Pro XT. What, they couldn't throw another buzzword in there like Platinum or something? Or they've already got the Platinum series. Anyway, yeah, quite a long name there, but obviously it's a model that's meant to go with their, or I don't know, their IQ software, even though the other ones do. Not sure about that. I haven't read too much about this one, but I would like to use it in a build soon, so it's good that we have it on hand. All right, we'll have a bit of a look. So this is a more affordable version when compared to the Platinum models that we already have. I've got the 360mm Platinum version up there, and the pump house is no longer sort of silver around here, it's black. So yeah, glossy black. Not too much of a difference, to be honest with you. I don't know which one I prefer. I quite like the silver, but if you prefer black, now you've got this option. Nice big copper, I'll just take this off, copper base on it. So pretty good coverage there for your sort of AM4 and your mainstream Intel processors. And by AM4, of course, I mean AMD. And so it looks like this will actually support all current AMD and Intel platforms. So you can put it on the Intel HEDT stuff. So, you know, like the new 10980XE and all that kind of processors. And then we have a bracket here, which looks suspiciously like a TR4 bracket. So you could use that on, well, first, second, or even third gen Threadripper. Don't know what the coverage is like for Threadripper. Probably not ideal, but it does support it anyway, so I suppose that's kind of nice. It'll possibly get you out of trouble if you upgrade in the future. A couple of ML 140 fans there. So these particular models come with ML fans. If you get this is the 280mm version. If you get the 240mm version, you'll get 120mm fans, and there is also a 360mm version, which obviously comes with 3 120mm fans. The pump housing has 16 addressable LED lights, which are fully programmable. You can do all kinds of things with the IQ software. And of course, that's controlled via a USB header. So pretty similar to what we've seen in the past from Corsair. But yeah, pretty interesting cooler there. Not sure if I'll be able to provide a detailed benchmark on it. Perhaps I will. I've got a few AIOs that I would like to test, so perhaps we'll do some kind of roundup in the not too distant future. But as I said, a little bit cheaper than the Platinum versions, $140 US, for those of you over in the US buying from, you know, Amazon, Newegg, or your favorite retailer over there. And in Australia, you're looking at more like $225 Australian. So yeah, not too bad on the conversion there. And it's about what you'd expect to pay for this kind of all-in-one liquid cooler. But anyway, it'll definitely be featured in a build in the not too distant future, and we'll probably do some testing and all that kind of stuff as well. All right, I'm going to put that just out of the way there and grab something else to open. Actually, there's something I should have opened a bit sooner. All right, so this got a little bit beaten up in the mail. This was sent in by a Patreon member, so that's really cool. Ibslice. So on our Discord chat, a lot of you will know Ibslice, really good community member, and he's written here, appreciate all your help. So that's very nice. Well, I appreciate all your support. But yeah, you're very, very welcome. Very nice. I'll open it up and see what he's got. I probably shouldn't be thanking him too much before I get into it, because who knows what he has sent. The Patreon members can be quite cheeky. They're usually giving me a hard time. Anyway, we'll cut into this. This is kind of cool. So, what we have here... God, it is really... Australia Post did beat this up a bit. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. So we have a Meccano set, which should be all intact. The box has been very beaten up by Australia Post. But yeah, Meccano, and it is a Ferrari F1 car. So that is very, very cool. I'm quite the F1 fan, and that is something pretty cool I can put together and put on the set behind me. What is it? 10 plus. Yeah, I should be able to handle that. Level 3. So yeah, I should be able to tackle that one. Might do that on a stream for the Patreon members. Might do a live stream or something. That could be a bit of fun. Try and put this together. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much for that. Very much appreciated. And yeah, that'll give me some fun content to make in the not too distant future. So I'll just hit that there, and we'll get on to the next box. All right, what do we have here? It's just a plain looking sort of box. Not sure what we're looking at here. Looks like we've got some Kingston t-shirt. Always love some free clothes. Okay. So the first thing here is, what size is this? Because if it's not large, it'll probably be for Tim. No, it is a large, so that should fit me quite well. Anyway, cool little HyperX t-shirt there, like that. And we have the Pulsefire Dart. Looks like a wireless gaming mouse. It says wireless gaming mouse. And we have the HyperX Alloy Origins Core, which looks to be a compact sort of 10 keyless keyboard. So we'll start with, let's get in the keyboard first. Quick bit of research tells me that this is selling for about $90 US. and about $170 Australian. So yeah, a bit of a brutal conversion rate there, though the Aussie dollar is dropping at the moment. But anyway, this looks good. I'm currently using, which I'm pretty sure I unboxed it maybe a few episodes ago now, though, like I said, it's been so long since I last did one of these episodes. I unboxed the Alloy Elite, I believe it is called. I haven't actually looked at the name of it, but I have been using it pretty much ever since I unboxed it, so for quite some time now, and it is a really good keyboard. It's only sort of red backlighting, but I don't really care what color the backlighting is as long as it is backlit. And yeah, I really like it. It's been good. No complaints from it at all. It's relatively easy to clean, and it still works like the day I got it. It's very cold. So it is wrapped in aluminum, and it feels pretty solid. Pretty good quality keyboard. There's no flex in it. It's really strong. Obviously, it isn't wireless, or not obviously, but it isn't wireless, and it has a detachable USB cable, which plugs in like that, and then if we plug it in a computer, it should light up. Wow, that looks quite impressive, I have to say. Despite having a black backing, the lighting is, well, as Kingston say, it is quite stunning. So the reason for that is why it's so bright, and you're going to see it glowing in my hands probably, is because the LEDs are exposed. So you guys can probably get a better view of that there. So the backside of the switches, the LED light is exposed, so you get a really strong sort of a backlight glow from the LED. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. Even with the studio lights on, it's very bright. Yeah, it gives a really, really cool effect. So if you love your RGB, this keyboard is definitely going to appeal. It's a lot brighter than the Alloy Elite that I'm currently using. The keycaps, pretty sure they're identical because this feels very, very familiar. I must have the red switches on mine because it sounds and feels the same. I really like it. I've obviously gotten used to it because I'm using it for, well, quite a long time now, somewhere between 6 and 12 months, I would say. Yeah, and I really like the feel of it. So, a couple of quick stats. It has, as you'd expect, I mean, never going to be any kind of just ordinary aluminium. It is aircraft grade aluminium. It always is. Whenever a keyboard has aluminium, it's the aircraft grade stuff. So it's good to fly. It's not the cheap Coke can grade aluminium. This is the aircraft stuff. So I guess that means it's pretty strong, and yeah, will fly quite well if you frisbee it. But it also has, so the red keys, as I noted on here, they have a 1.8 millimeter actuation on them, which will travel distance. So I quite like that. It suits me, or at least, as I said, I've gotten used to it. Detachable USB Type-C cable, so that's cool. And obviously, detachable cables on premium mechanical keyboards are really good because if you happen to either fray or break the cable here, or you break a connector off either end or something like that when it's in your backpack, you don't have to throw the whole thing away or do some kind of dodgy mod. You can just replace the detachable cable. So that's a big plus there. You like to see that. But other than that, it is, well, it's a mechanical gaming keyboard, a 10 keyless compact gaming keyboard. So yeah, pretty cool, I reckon. I'm pretty keen to give that a shot. I might actually replace the Elite with this and see how it goes. All right, we will jump over to the mouse now, the Pulsefire Dart. And I like the idea of a wireless mouse. I used to have one, it died, and now I've got a wired one. I'm using the Razer Basilisk, I think it's called, Essentials perhaps. Again, I got that on Unboxing Boxes. It is a wired mouse. It's very good, no complaints whatsoever, apart from the fact that it is wired, and I typically prefer to use a wireless mouse where I can. Okay, so I've got this out. It is a wireless mouse. On the bottom, you got a power on and off switch. That's about it, really. And then, of course, you will have the USB little receiver, little dongle that you put in the back of your computer, and that will allow you to use the mouse with your computer. Pretty cool. So here's the charging cable. So when the mouse goes flat, you plug that in, it charges the lithium-ion battery within. That is said to last 50 hours. 50 hours of gaming. and that's okay. Not amazing, but yeah, once every couple of days, once a week, depending on how much you game, I suppose, you'll have to plug that cable in and charge her up. That said, it does support wireless charging. So it is QI certified for wireless charging. So if you happen to have a mouse pad or something nearby that supports that, then you can just put the mouse on it and that'll charge it up that way, so you don't have to worry about the cable. But for most people, the cable is going to be a pretty quick and convenient solution. Also included is this cool little disc thing that that end plugs into. And if you happen to have your computer somewhere where the reception for this receiver is not great, perhaps it's the back of the computer under your desk, whatever the situation may be, you can sit this up on your desk near the mouse so you get that really clear signal, no interruptions, and you should get the full polling rate. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, of course, you can just unplug that once it's flat and plug it in that way. So yeah, pretty neat little setup. So the sensor used inside this thing is the Pixart 3389 sensor, and there are 5 DPI settings that are supported, or 5 profiles, and you can basically configure that all the way up to an insane 16,000 DPI if, well, I don't know who would use that or how, but anyway, you can do that if you want to. And using the Wi-Fi receiver, it has a 1 millisecond response time, so 1000 hertz polling rate. So that's pretty cool, but pretty standard stuff for modern wireless mice. Something I really like about this mouse, and I would say is, well, very unique to this mouse, I certainly haven't come across it on others, is these side pads where you would rest, well, your thumb and then sort of your pinky finger, depending on how you hold it. But they're like, sort of almost like, I don't think they are gel padded, but they feel like they are. What does Kingston call them? So Kingston refers to these as ergonomic, padded, leatherette side grips. So yeah, sort of feels like a very rubberized material. It is, yeah, it feels really good to hold. It'd be interesting to use it for quite a few hours and see how it is, but yeah, there's plenty of squish zone in that. It's yeah, very comfortable. I like it. Quite unique. Like I said, haven't come across that before. I'll turn it on. Oh, yep. So there we go. We got 2 RGB light zones. So that's probably why the battery only lasts 50 hours. I'm not sure if that can be disabled in any way. It's not clear if it can be. But anyway, you got the HyperX logo there and then the mouse wheel on either side, which does look good. But yeah, it probably does drain the battery a bit. You'd probably get a few more hours out of it if it didn't have those LED lights. But anyway, that is the situation. But there's a few options to charge it up. Anyway, pretty cool mouse. I'll be giving that a go at some point. I'm not sure when, but yeah. Okay, that's everything out of that package looked at. I think I might only have one package left. I got through this relatively quickly compared to normal. All right, we have a rather large box here that I absolutely haven't tampered with in any way, just quickly then. So let's see what's in it. All right. Oh, let's see what's in this big, heavy box. Just missed the microphone there. Oh, would you look at that? It's a box full of toilet paper. Just in time, I was running low. Oh, we got some other things in this care package as well. Look at that. Someone must have ordered too much toilet paper and now they're having to use it to package products. Of course, I'm joking. That was just a silly gag on my behalf. I quickly just chucked this toilet paper. They had some plastic sort of paper padding out these products and I replaced it with the toilet paper. So yeah, that was my one hilarious gag for this video. Anyway, I suppose I should probably clean this up and get on with it. Get off there. Okay, now that you've stopped laughing, we can get on with what was in that package. So I've covered everything in toilet paper fibers. All right, I think we'll leave what looks to be a headset. We'll leave that for last. Ooh. Hello, another wireless gaming mouse. This looks pretty awesome. I'm not quite up to speed with my peripherals. Haven't looked at this stuff in a long time. I've sort of just stuck with what I've had and we focused on the stuff we usually focus on here at Harbour Unboxed. Actually, you know what? This has caught my eye. This is the Ultimate Ears UE Wonder Boom 2. And I have the original Wonder Boom floating around here, which I'll grab in a moment. Okay, I just got to undo this. All right. One on the bottom. And we got that. There we go, that comes off easy enough once you undo it all. There's another one here. All right. How do I, oh, no, it opens up that way. There you go, little speaker. Wow, this thing looks pretty cool as well. All right, I'll put this away and then we'll talk about this thing. All right, so I went and grabbed the original Wonderboom, and that is this gray one here. I unboxed this on Unboxing Boxes some time ago. Again, no idea when, but I did. And we did like an audio test, and it was very, very impressive, and I've been using it a lot ever since. So considering how much I've been using it, it's got very, very little wear on it. I mean, I haven't taken it outside too much, but a couple of little marks on it, but otherwise it looks pretty well brand new. Very close to what this one looks like. So, number one, I suppose we should probably talk about what has changed, because externally, they look very, very similar. So this new model has a 13-hour runtime, so 13 hours of battery life. It's got an internal lithium-ion battery, just as this one does, but this one only ran for 10 hours. Well, when I say only, that's quite a bit of time, really. You certainly would be able to get a few days use out of it, I would say. But anyway, 10 hours, so 3 hours extra on the new model. Externally, yeah, as I said, very, very similar. A few small sort of aesthetic changes. The connectivity stuff looks to be pretty much the same. Yep, that is the same. Underneath there is a button now, which didn't exist on this button. It's a little tree, and that is the outdoor mode. So it changes an equalizer preset, which makes the audio a bit more, well, I don't know, dynamic or something outside, which is an option this one didn't have. So yeah, this one should sound better outside or work a bit better outside. Slightly different sort of, tag there. This one's a bit more flexible, a bit more stretchy, actually quite a bit more. So you can wrap that around things. But you got the Bluetooth pairing button, the power on button, that's all pretty much the same. And something else about this one that looks really cool is it has a two-tone fabric, or all of the models have two-tone fabrics. This one's, well, I think it's a red with sort of like a white flecks kind of through it. It looks really cool, whereas this one's just grey, which, you know, it still looks good, but this one's a bit more interesting looking, and there are some pretty crazy designs from what I've seen using the two-tone fabric. So yeah, just a bit more fancy looking, this one. It's also been upgraded in its, well, I suppose its durability rating. So this one here is IPX7 rated, and this one is IP67 rated. So basically the main difference there is this one can still be, like this one, submerged in water up to 1 meter for about half an hour. But the new 6 before the 7 means that it will survive water projected in the form of a power jet, so a reasonably powerful power jet. So I don't think that means your gurney, I'm not sure, but maybe like a hose or whatever. So I guess if you were to take your Bluetooth speaker like whitewater rafting, this would be the model you want. But anyway, water directed at it in the form of a fairly powerful jet. This one will survive, whereas this one may end up getting damaged. So yeah, slightly better IP rating there. A few other quick specs. It takes about 2.5 hours to charge it up. It works for the standard 33 meters. That's kind of a Bluetooth thing. And it has two 40mm active drivers with 2 passive radiators. Really cool thing about this model, which has also been carried over to this, is the 360-degree audio. This one is phenomenal. I'm expecting this one to be as good. It's meant to be better. I have my phone somewhere. I'll find that. We'll connect it to my phone, and yeah, we'll see how it sounds. All right, I've got my phone with the Bluetooth on, and we will fire this up. Hopefully it's got a bit of battery. Whoop. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. We'll enable the Bluetooth pairing mode. Okay, you just hold that down. It makes that little cool sound. Makes that sound. Straight away, my phone has found it. Pairing. Pair with Wonderboom 2, yes. Okay, that was quick and easy. That's done. Now to find some royalty-free music, and we'll see how this thing goes. We'll find some Lakey-inspired music, I think. Don't know how loud this is going to be. Okay, cool. So that's about medium volume. I don't know how well you can hear me. It's not quite maxing out my mic. Pretty crazy how 360 degree it is. I'll turn it down a little bit. Check this out. So it sounds, to me it sounds the same the whole way around. Whereas that's a little bit different. Still quite clear. Yeah, the 360 degree audio on these things is awesome. So I'll crank it up a bit. Really impressive. So the outdoor mode seems to a lot more treble, a bit more throw with the audio there, which probably makes sense for outside. There's less things to sort of bounce the audio off, depending on where it's situated. But anyway, really impressive like the original model. For those of you interested, it is $70 US or $100 Aussie, which I think is a really good price for a Bluetooth speaker of this quality. As I said, I've been using this one quite a bit, still works like new. And yeah, very durable, very high quality. I'm quite impressed with this one. I expect this to be just as good. So this is an actual product that I have tested quite extensively and I can recommend. So yeah, they're good quality speakers, the UE stuff. Anyway, we'll move on to the next thing. I'll just turn that off. Cool, it's off. Okay, so that's that one done. What else have we? So we still got the... Okay, we'll look at the mouse quickly. So this is a pretty impressive wireless mouse, it looks, based on the specs. And I think I'm going to use this guy first. Because, wow, really interesting looking bottom there. Very, very interesting looking. But yeah, in a lot of ways it feels and looks like a sort of a typical Logitech mouse. So you got the ability there to notch the wheel or let it free spool up and down for probably what is DPI, but these are probably all programmable. And it looks like you can switch between, I think, the Bluetooth mode and the Wi-Fi mode. So we've got a power button on the bottom there. How is it powered? Okay, it looks like we've got a single AA battery. Maybe that. Okay, yep. USB dongle again, receiver, plug that in the back of your computer. There's also, as we found with the Pulse, there is a USB extension cord, and it looks like it's the same one Logitech's been using for many, many, many years now. But it works, that's fine, that's good. Which way does that go? It looks like it goes that way. Yep, we've got a light. Okay, we'll pop this back on. Okay, so we've got a little flashing light there. It's probably looking for a signal to connect to, or to connect to the receiver. But yeah, it's powered on at the moment. I like how this doesn't have any LED lighting. Yeah, LED lighting's cool if there's an easy way to turn it off. Again, I'm not sure if you can turn it off on that mouse. I'll have to plug it in, see if there's any software that can do that. But this one, yeah, no LED lights to worry about, so the runtime will be much better. And in fact, it is according to Logitech. So Logitech are claiming on a single AA battery, like the one we just installed, that this thing will run for 240 hours. So that's pretty bloody impressive. They also say if you use the Bluetooth mode, which has a lower polling rate than the Wi-Fi mode, it will last for 5.5 months. So basically half a year. I imagine that's continuous use, or maybe they're using some sort of average. Don't know, there's no asterisks with any of that information, so I'm not sure how long it will actually last. Perhaps there's reviews with a bit more detailed information on battery life, but in any case, it's going to last a lot longer than the 50 hours of the Kingston mouse. So yeah, pretty impressive runtime there. It does have onboard memory, and there are a number of programmable keys. So you can program them, you can take it, put it on another computer, and the memory will remember all your programmable keys. So that's good. 135 grams in total. So even with the battery in there, it is very light. Not as light as some of the sort of really competitive mice, but it is still quite light. So yeah, and a cool thing about it is you can pair it with the Bluetooth to, say, your laptop, and then use the Wi-Fi on your main desktop gaming PC. And with a click of a button, you can switch between the two. So I really like that. That's cool. It's sort of like the MX Master did that with about 3 different devices, but they were all Bluetooth, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I don't remember. It was quite a long time ago I looked at that mouse. But anyway, that is a neat feature. As I said, I'm using the Razer Basilisk Essential. It's a wired mouse, and I'm pretty keen to go wireless again. So I think I'll be giving this one a go initially, and then I'll have a try with the HyperX version as well. But anyway, very cool looking mouse there. I'll let you guys know what I think of it. And lucky last is the Pro X, the Logitech Pro X. Looks like it'd be a 10 keyless mechanical gaming keyboard. Oh, just back up quickly. Did I mention the price of the G604? If I didn't, it is currently selling for $100 US, which I think is really reasonable for a mouse of that quality. Again, I haven't used it yet, but it seems like it is a good quality mouse. 140 Australian dollars, so conversion's not too bad on that one, a lot better than the Kingston mouse. So yeah, I think for that price, probably going to be a good price, but yeah, I'll test it out and I'll report back either in the comment section. I'll probably let the guys know on Discord as well what I think of it. So we'll move back on over to this 10 keyless keyboard at the Pro X, and we'll get that out. So a couple of interesting things about this keyboard. It has switchable pro grade switches, so you can change out the switches on the keyboard. So this one, gee, it's very heavy. Wow, those switches feel very, very, very different to what I'm currently using. So these ones are the blue ones. Very clicky, quite noisy, but I would say they require quite a bit of actuation force, quite a bit of pressure to push down on them. Again, personal preference kind of thing. Some people might prefer these or find them normal. They're very different coming from those. These feel much smoother, much easier to press. These ones are quite harder to press. So again, there's no right or wrong, no bad option. It's just personal preference. So I believe these ones are the blue clicky, so GX blue clicky switches, and then here I have the GX brown tactical switches. So I'll give those a feel in a moment. And you can also get red linear switches. So they're, again, probably a bit easier to push down on compared to these blue ones. But this one is a plastic enclosure, plastic sort of build, and it is much heavier. But other than that, you know, there is more flex in this compared to the aircraft grade aluminium version, but as long as you're not flexing the crap out of it, it should be fine. Again, detachable cord. This one isn't USB 3 Type-C. It's a USB 2 micro cord, but it is a braided cord, and yeah, it's detachable, so that's all good. And you could use any cable in this. It doesn't have to have the little winglet things on them, but that just makes it stay in a bit better. I'll plug it in. We'll have a look at the RGB lighting on it. So using the software, you can program the lighting on this keyboard, so that's neat. And the F keys are programmable as well, so you can make them like macro keys. So obviously there's 12 of those. It does have a lot. Why is it not turning on for me? You're meant to be turning on while I'm talking. Well, it helps if you plug the USB cord all the way in, which I've done now. So much more subtle RGB lighting, which, you know, some people will prefer. It's not as in your face as the Kingston version, but yeah, I quite like it. I just not a big fan of these particular switches. So we'll have a look at the brown ones. And so here we go. We've got some brown switches. I'll get that out of the way. Some more brown switches, And some more brown switches. So there's sort of 3 levels of those. It would take you a little bit of time to replace them all, but you can do that. There's a tool for doing it. I won't replace any now. I suppose if you wanted to, you could also run, you know, some browns, some blues, depending if you wanted to, you know, you can mix and match essentially whatever you prefer. Yeah, so I much prefer these. They're not as loud, but they feel very similar to the red ones on the Kingston keyboard. Much easier to press down. So yeah, I like the browns. They are what I would go with. I do not like the blue ones at all. They don't feel good to me. But as I said, personal preference thing. That's why there are multiple options. I don't know how much it costs to change the switches. And I'm not 100% sure if blue is the default and you can't buy it with the browns. That would be a bit surprising to me. Yeah, well, I mean, this one says blue on the box, so I'd say you can buy it with red, brown, or blue. So yeah, better off to buy it with the ones you want, but you can buy this kit and, as I said, customize. You can go mix and match if that's something that interests you. But anyway, pretty cool keyboard. I don't know if I talked about the price yet. $120 US, or I think it was 200. Yeah, 120 US, 200 Australian for this model. So pretty pricey. Prefer the build quality of this one for that sort of money. I'm not a big fan of the all plastic design, but again, probably a personal preference thing. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'll give this one a go, but I'll probably have to change all the switches to the brown ones, so I'll do that when I've got a bit of time. So I think, oh no, that isn't everything. I was getting a bit ahead of myself. I've still got a headset to look at, and then we're done. Okay, lucky last is Astro's A40s Plus Mix Amp Pro. So this is a pretty high-end gaming headset, or very high-end really. It is $290 US, or $400 Australian. So yeah, very, very pricey item, this one. That's some serious suction. All right. Pretty interesting looking box here. Actually, I might not open it that way because I think everything will fall out. Okay. Cool. Sort of a magnetic... Oh, there's another little compartment here. So, we'll start with the headset. Got the mic here. Actually, I won't plug that in fully. So these little side pieces come off. They've got 4 magnets that just grab them into place, which is really cool. And mic input. But what's cool is you can put the mic on the other side. So you just got to change which side this guy is on. So you can put it on the right side or the left side. So yeah, right or left. We'll just go with the more standard left side. So that just clips in there. And again, that just pops on. You can get what they sort of call like a mod kit. So you can get all these blue accents in. There's green, red, a few other colors. That comes at an additional cost, but I think for most of you the blue will do. But I suppose if you're in an esports team and your color scheme is green or something, you might want to change it to the green ones. But yeah, so headset, it's very nice and comfortable, and these sliders are cool. So you can see the headphone cable in there. It doesn't take too much force to move them, but they don't, once they're sort of in place, you have to deliberately move them. Wow, they're very comfortable. And the mic, it's almost like a sort of bearing type thing. It's that smooth. But there, the mic moves really nicely. You can bend that however you like. So you put it out here somewhere. And they grab your head really well. Like they fit very, I don't know how to describe it. Like it's very firmly, but it's not applying really any pressure around my ears or my head. So I feel like you could wear these for several hours and not end up with a migraine or any kind of discomfort. Of course, we'll have to put that to the test. I'm definitely going to be using these tonight. So I'll probably edit this video wearing these. Yeah, probably the most comfortable headset I've ever worn. Right now I'm using the Corsair, I think it's the Void Pro RGB. They're very good. I can wear them for many, many hours and not get any kind of discomfort. But if I shake my head like this, they are quite a bit looser, let's say. They wobble around a bit more. Not that I do much of that when I'm gaming, but if you happen to get up off your chair or throw your head back, you are at risk of sort of tossing them off. Whereas, yeah, you're not going to get these off very easily. But yeah, very, very comfortable. I'm very impressed. So they've got sort of like, well, a fabric ear cup, kind of like a, I know some brands call them like a sports type fabric. Probably doesn't, well, for people who sweat easily, probably better than your leatherette stuff. There are no other options. Possibly you can buy some. I haven't looked into that, but for rather powerful magnets, you can see the driver behind the fabric there, or there would be a driver behind there. That grabs in nicely. Same on both sides. So these are quite easy to replace. But yeah, I really like the whole design. The build quality seems excellent. Really easy to adjust. So that's the headphones. They're not wireless, so there's a 3.5mm jack there, and that will connect to this, the mix amp. So this is something that would probably appeal to streamers. So the big huge wheel here is your volume control, so the master volume control. Then you also have a voice control here, so you can control the volume of the mic. So that's pretty cool, very handy for those wanting to quickly sort of adjust the balance between the game and the commentary. So that's obviously ideal for streamers. This works with PS4, so those console things, and PC and Mac. So yeah, for all those Mac gamers out there, this supports you. But yeah, you can switch between PS4 and PC. Obviously, I'll keep it on PC. There's an optical connection, USB, auxiliary, and then the stream. And then you can also daisy chain these, so you can have like two people commentating and playing on the one PC. So yeah, pretty interesting there. Not something I would really use because I'm not a streamer, but I'll have a play around with it and see how it goes. Included is an optical cable, so we've got that. What's this one? This will be for the daisy chaining, the decks. USB cable, which will go from the deck to the PC. And then we have the 3.5mm cable, which goes from there to the headset. Pretty cool. It has an inline mic. Yeah, it's quite a good one. An inline mic mute button, rather. And it's quite big, quite easy to use, but it's not something you would accidentally mute. You would accidentally enable the mute on it. You have to pull down with quite a bit of force. Some of them, on some of the headsets I've used, they're really annoying. It's quite easy to accidentally mute the mic and you don't realize that your teammates can't hear you for a while. Obviously not something you want to do if you're a professional streamer. But yeah, that's pretty neat. But anyway, not too much more to say on this one. I've really just got to use it and see how they go. So as I said, I'll definitely be taking these upstairs to the office, plugging them into my editing PC and editing this video with them, and then if I get a bit of time, I'll play a few games and see how they go. But yeah, very impressed with the build quality, and hopefully they sound as good as they look. But anyway, that is going to do it for this episode of Unboxing Boxes. It's taken a while to get here, but I've finally done one. Might be able to do another one in the not too distant future. We'll see how things go. Yeah, with the human malware that's going around the globe at the moment, probably not going to be getting as many products in as usual, but we'll see how we go. Obviously, a lot of 5600 XT graphics cards to test. So that's going to keep me busy for a while. And yeah, hopefully we can get our hands on some new products, some improved products like the 5700 XT, the new Evo model that Asus has released, the Tough Evo. And of course, I want to look at the MSI X570 Tomahawk. I'm dying to test that board out. But yeah, that is really going to do it for this one. So thank you for watching. Hopefully those of you who have been bugging me to do another unboxing boxes were satisfied. And yeah, not much more else to say. We've got Patreon if you're interested in that. You want to become part of the Hardware Box community. Merch, we got merch. There's the YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, do all that. And above all else, yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I am your host, Steve, and I'll see you again next time. Get some toilet paper.